I am so excited to share the exhibit that is here in the Tointon Gallery right now. We're talking Confluence, the visual story of Greeley's Water. What an incredible legacy. And I've got two people here today to talk to me about the history of water and the visuals that are part of the Confluence exhibit. I want to first start with Harold Evans, a member of the Water and Sewer Board. Harold, tell us a bit about your role on this board.
My role on the board is currently as chairman. I've just finished up my 25th year on the board. I've been board chair for 19 of those years. We're a 7-person volunteer citizen board appointed by City Council. In addition to that, the city manager, the finance director, and the mayor are ex officio members of our board. Originally, the water board was set up in the 1958 Home Rule Charter. Then in 1973, the sewer function was added and we became the Water and Sewer Board. So we're really the policy-making board for things water and sewer in Greeley. In addition to that, we also have rate-setting authority. So sometimes we're pretty unpopular when people pay their water bill.
So this exhibit, it celebrates the 150-year history of Greeley Water. It actually was supposed to take place 2 years ago in 2020, but we know because of COVID-19 that got delayed. Harold, can you speak to 150 years, just the significance of that history?
Well, it's really pretty mind-boggling when you think about it. But the June 10th of 1870 was the date that they turned water into the number 3 ditch that runs through Greeley. This was one of the first things that the Union colonists or the citizens of Greeley constructed as infrastructure, was an irrigation ditch. They also dedicated a 3/8 undivided interest in the ditch for the parks and gardens of the community. And if you look around the older parts of Greeley, you'll still see some old irrigation ditches that they used to water their yards with at that point in time. The significance of this is that Greeley has actually this year 152 years of history of building a robust, redundant water system. It's really the envy of many of our peer cities in northern Colorado. And a lot of that has to do with the foresight and the execution of our forefathers, not only in 1870, but going forward to build this system that we rely on today.
That's incredible. It's mind-boggling as a new resident myself, just learning about this incredible history and how it set up Greeley for the future. Now, Stan, as you're helping assist with the visual exhibit of Greeley Water history, can you talk about just the visual significance and what you see is the message of this exhibit?
Yeah, like Harold said, we have a lot of history with Greeley's Water, and we're really excited to really show that visually with Stephanie Burchett's contemporary photographs of the Greeley landscape and the water kind of projects that really make Greeley possible. So we've got over 19 photographs and from her project specifically working with the water board, and a couple other side projects that are exciting. I'm really excited for just kind of seeing some aerial drone video and views of your landscape that you wouldn't typically see or think about. It kind of lets you reimagine what things were like, kind of seeing images side by side, and it's going to be a great show.
And I think what's really interesting that a lot of people might not know is Confluence. The name of the exhibit is taken off of a book, Harold, that you were involved in publishing that is about the history of water. And it's just Confluence being the tie-in of waters meeting. It's really neat that this exhibit ties in with the history of Greeley Water and the book as well. Now, we talked about this before, Harold. Like I said, with new residents coming in, with Greeley growing, a lot of people might not know this history. Can you share what you think is the most significant part of Greeley's water history?
Well, you have to really look at it as an aggregate over that now 152 years. But to me, the most important thing that I'd like for our citizens to know is the system that we have now has been developed over generations, almost 15 generations. And we take water out of 4 river basins. We have 2 water treatment plants. And in addition to that, we have a very high quality water. And we're the envy of many of our other faster growing cities that don't have the water supply we do. So I think this exhibit will help people see what it was like 152 years ago and then today. For one example, one of the pictures I think is in the exhibit is you can stand at 8th and 8th and look east and see what it looked like in 1870. And you can do that today, and it'll help give you a frame of reference of how far we've progressed. But then it's really a challenge as we go to the future, that we see one of our primary roles is to make sure that Greeley has adequate water for its future, because we're living today off of that water that was provided by our ancestors, not only in 1870, but in the early 1900s, in the 1930s. You look at that history that's in the book, and what we're trying to do is live up to those forefathers who provided for what we have, and our challenge is to make sure that 100 years from now, Greeley still is a leader in water in northern Colorado.
It's an incredible legacy. I can just tell you to go read the book, Confluence, Story of Greeley's Water, and then to learn about this exhibit, make sure to go to greeleyart.com.